Well, joining me now is aviation and travel expert Paul Charles. Good morning to you, Paul. How common is this sort of vulnerability of third-party systems like this?
This is not common at all. Collins Aerospace, who have been affected by this cyber attack, is one of the biggest aviation and defense companies in the world, employing over 80,000 people. And it's deeply worrying that a company of that stature, who normally have such resilient systems in place, have been affected. This is a very clever cyber attack indeed, because it's affected a number of airlines and airports at the same time. Not just one airport or one airline, but they've got into the core system that enables airlines to effectively check in many of their passengers at different desks at different airports around Europe. This is highly significant.
Are you surprised at the vulnerability of a system by such a big company?
I am really surprised and shocked by this. Collins Aerospace is owned by RTX. It's the world's biggest defence and aviation company. Collins supplies the UK government. It supplies other governments around the world, including the Australian government. And I think there will be deep concerns that their systems have been tampered with in such a way. We don't know the exact cause of this cyber attack, but it's deeply worrying. Collins is at the heart of the aviation system.
Yeah, and so what do you think airlines are best advised to do now?
Well, clearly, from a passenger point of view, as you heard at Heathrow, the best thing is to check in as normal unless your airline tells you not to. So do look at the airline app for the airline you're traveling with and check in as normal. But there are clearly long delays. Looking at the departure and arrivals boards at Heathrow, for example, there are some significant delays in place there, and especially at Berlin and Brussels airports as well. So if you're flying through them, make sure you're aware what your airline is telling you. But from an airline perspective, they are wholly reliant on this Collins system. So it's not until Collins can sort this out, can get into its system and replenish it, that things are going to get any better. And I hope they're able to do that as soon as possible.
What can airlines do to mitigate their own risk when they are so reliant, as you say, on these systems? I mean, presumably they're they war game these things going wrong.
They generally do. IT departments, especially in the last couple of years, because of the increase of cyber attacks, have been obviously checking their systems more. But airlines use so many third-party systems that they are deeply reliant on those third parties, like Collins, making sure they've got the right barriers in place to stop such cyber attacks. And the aviation system as a whole, when you look at all the airports, all the airlines combined, use hundreds of suppliers. So they're having to go through each supplier, checking them, making sure they've got the right defenses in place. And as we've seen this morning, it's clearly not always possible. But I think what's staggering this morning is somebody of the size of Collins has been affected. It really is a major player in the world's aviation system. And the fact that its own systems have been subject to a cyber attack will cause deep, deep concern, not only among airlines and airports, but also among governments who use Collins Aerospace.
Yeah, it's pretty sobering, isn't it? I mean, when we're past the summer rush in the airports, are the airlines able to sort of throw more staff at this? I was just speaking to Simon Calder, and he's saying that, at Heathrow there just isn't that much slack in the system.
No, well, it's Saturday morning, so obviously there are a lot of people who will be off for the weekend, might have been caught off guard by this. And clearly airlines are having to resort to manual processes when systems like this go down. Now, when you resort to a manual check-in process, it is a much more long process. It's much more difficult. It takes longer. And obviously you need more people to be able to do that. So the airlines are drafting in more resource this morning. I know that. But it's going to take time for them to be able to process everybody. And that's why there will be these delays. And for some passengers, unknown delays to their takeoffs. So sadly, it's going to affect traffic for most of the day. But that's assuming they get this system back up and running. If they can't work out how to recover this system, it's going to take many days before they're able to get it back online.
Goodness me. All right, Paul, as I said, sobering talking to you about that. Thank you very much indeed. We are monitoring the situation for you throughout the day here on Sky News. So do check with your airline and keep watching Sky News for updates.